The silver ships moved through space like quiet fish swimming in a dark ocean. There were 12 of them, each one shaped like a teardrop made of light. They had traveled for many months to reach this yellow star and the blue planet that circled it. Ambassador Veltar stood in the main ship, looking out at the world they had come so far to find. His skin was pale blue, and his eyes were large and kind. Like all his people, he had spent his long life learning how to make peace between angry groups. He had stopped wars on 50 different worlds. He had taught bitter enemies to become friends. Now he hoped to do the same thing here. "The planet is beautiful," said Kisara, his second in command. She was from a different species, with green skin and 4 arms. "But the readings worry me." Veltar nodded. The computers had been watching Earth for many days now. What they found made him sad. The humans seemed to fight all the time. There were weapons everywhere. Big cities full of people, but also armies with tanks and planes. The machines could see explosions happening in different places. They could detect the heat from rockets being fired. "How can one species fight so much?" asked Morden, the ship's science officer. He was tall and thin, with silver skin that changed colors when he was upset. Right now it was flashing red and orange. They have been at war for their entire history. The computer found evidence of battles going back thousands of years. Dr. Senna, the team's expert on violent species, spoke up. She was the only one who looked almost human, except for her completely black eyes. "This is worse than we thought. Look at these images," showed them pictures the computers had taken. Humans in green clothes carrying guns, big machines that shot explosives, ships on the ocean with weapons pointed at the sky, cities with walls built to keep out enemies. "They even teach their children to fight," Dr. Sina continued. "Look here. Small humans in uniforms, learning to march and carry weapons. This species trains for war from birth." Veltar felt his hearts grow heavy. He had 2 hearts, like all his people. When he was sad, both of them beat slowly. "We came here, hoping to welcome them to the Galactic Peace Union. We wanted to show them a better way to live." The Peace Union was made up of 7 different species from across the galaxy. They had learned long ago that fighting was wrong. Instead of wars, they used special technology to make angry people calm. They could send peaceful thoughts through space. They had medicines that took away the desire to hurt others. For 3,000 years, no world in the Union had seen a single battle. "Maybe we can still help them," said Kisara. "We have the harmony fields. We have the peace speakers. If we can just get close enough to their planet, we can start making them calm." Veltar looked at the blue world again. It was so pretty, with white clouds and green land and blue water. It was hard to believe such a beautiful place was home to such violent people. The computers say there are 7 billion humans down there, all of them fighting each other. How did they not destroy themselves already? "Maybe they are too busy fighting to build really dangerous weapons," suggested Morden. "Some species blow up their own planets before they learn to travel in space." Dr. Senna was still looking at the war pictures. "I think it is worse than that. Look at how organized they are. These are not wild animals fighting over food. They have rules for their wars. They have uniforms and ranks and battle plans. This species has turned fighting into a science." The team became quiet. In all their years of making peace, they had never seen anything like this. Most violent species fought because they were scared, or hungry, or did not know better. But the humans seemed to fight because they liked it. Kerr called Pilot Jintar from the front of the ship. "We are getting signals from the planet." "Radio waves. They know we are here." Veltar straightened up. This was always the most important moment. How a species reacted to first contact would tell them everything they needed to know. "What kind of signals?" "They're trying to talk to us," Jintar said. "But they are also moving their warships. I count 50 vessels leaving their planet. And coming toward us, 50 warships?" Kazara's forearms moved nervously. "Are they planning to attack us?" "We must prepare the peace protocols," Veltar decided. "Start the harmony fields at low power. Begin broadcasting the calming frequencies. And get ready to release the sleep gas if they get too close." All around him, his crew began working. The ship filled with soft blue light as the peace machines started working. Gentle music began to play, the kind that made angry minds become quiet. The air itself began to change, filling with chemicals that would make the humans feel relaxed and friendly. Remember, Veltar told his team, we are here to help them. These humans have been trapped in violence for their whole history. They probably do not even remember what peace feels like. When they see us, they will be afraid because fear is all they know. But we will show them something better. The human ships were getting closer now. Veltar could see them on the big screen. It looked like metal spears with fire coming out the back. Even their ships looked angry and dangerous. Incoming message from the human vessels, Gintar announced. Put it on the speakers, Veltar said. He took a deep breath and prepared to meet the most violent species in the galaxy. A voice came through the speakers. It was deep and strong, speaking in a language the computers quickly learned to understand. Unknown vessels. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Welcome to our solar system. We come in peace and wish to establish friendly relations with your people. Veltar blinked in surprise. Peace. He swore like humans were talking. About peace? He looked at his team, who seemed just as confused. We invite you to send a representative to our ship for talks, the human voice continued. We have prepared rooms for guests who may breathe different air or need different food. We hope this can be the beginning of friendship between our peoples. Docta. Sina was shaking her head. This must be a trick. Violent species always lie during first contact. They say peaceful words while they prepare to attack. But Veltar was not so sure. The human voice sounded honest, and the idea of preparing special rooms for alien guests showed they had been thinking about this moment for a long time. Still, he could not forget all the evidence of human violence. The wars, the weapons, the armies. Maybe they were just very good at pretending to be peaceful. Send a reply, he told Gintar. Tell them we accept their invitation, but keep our shields up and the peace machines ready. We will meet these humans, but we will be careful. As his ship moved toward the human vessels, Veltar wondered what they would really find. Were these humans as violent as they seemed? Or was there something else going on that he did not understand yet? He would find out soon enough. The meeting room on the human ship was bigger than Veltar had expected. The walls were made of metal, but they had put up pictures of Earth, blue oceans, green forests, and white mountains. It looked peaceful, but Veltar knew better. Same forests probably hid armies. Those oceans carried warships. Admiral Sarah Chen sat across from him at a long table. She was a small human with dark hair and kind eyes. She wore a blue uniform with many colored patches on it. Veltar could see no weapons, but he knew humans were tricky. They probably had hidden guns everywhere. We're honored to meet you, Admiral Chen said with a smile. This is the greatest day in human history. We have always wondered if we were alone in the universe. Veltar nodded politely. His team had prepared him for this. Violent species always acted friendly at first. They would smile and talk about peace while they planned attacks. We thank you for your welcome. We represent the Galactic Peace Union. We have come to help your world. Help us. Admiral Chen looked confused. Help us with what? Dr. Senna, who sat next to Veltar, leaned forward. We know about the wars. Your species has been in conflict for thousands of years. We can teach you how to live in peace. Admiral Chen was quiet for a moment. Then she laughed, but not in a mean way. I think there might be some confusion. Yes, humans have fought wars in the past, but we are not at war now. Most of the world lives in peace. But our sensors detected explosions, said Kasara. We saw your army's training. We watched your warships moving across the oceans. Those are military exercises, Admiral Chen explained. We train our soldiers to keep them ready, but that does not mean we are fighting. And the explosions you saw were probably from construction work or mining. Veltar did not believe her. This was exactly what violent species did. They made up stories to explain their weapons. What about the children in uniforms? We saw small humans being taught to march and fight. Admiral Chen smiled again. You probably saw a school parade. Or maybe kids playing soldiers. Human children like to pretend they are heroes from stories. It is just games. Dr. Senna pulled out a small device and showed Admiral Chen pictures on its screen. These are not games. Look at this. Humans hitting each other with their hands. Crowds watching and cheering. Your people enjoy watching violence. The Admiral looked at the picture and started laughing harder. That is a boxing match. It is a sport. The fighters are not really trying to hurt each other badly. They follow rules, and a referee makes sure no one gets seriously injured. It is like a dance with punches. A dance with punches? Veltar could not understand this. In his culture, dancing was about beauty and peace. How could hitting be like dancing? We have many fighting sports, Admiral Chen continued. Boxing, wrestling, martial arts. People train for years to get good at them. But they are competitions, not real fights. It's like running races, but with contact. Morden, whose skin was now flashing yellow with confusion, spoke up. But why would peaceful people want to pretend to fight? Why not compete in music or art? We do that too, Admiral Chen said. We have singing contests and art shows and dance competitions, but some people like physical challenges, testing their strength and skill against others. It helps them stay healthy and strong. Veltar was getting more worried, not less. These humans had turned violence into entertainment. They trained to fight for fun. This was worse than he thought. Admiral Chen, we have technology that can help your people. It can broadcast peaceful thoughts. It can release chemicals that take away angry feelings. You would never want to fight again. The Admiral's smile disappeared. Her voice became serious. Ambassador Veltar, I appreciate your offer, but we do not want our thoughts changed. Fighting is part of who we are, but so is choosing not to fight. The ability to be dangerous makes peace more meaningful. That makes no sense, Dr. Sina said. Peace means the absence of violence. If you can fight, you are not peaceful. Let me try to explain, Admiral Chen said. She stood up and walked to one of the wall pictures. It showed two human children playing on a beach. Those are my grandchildren. I've spent 30 years in the military learning how to protect them. I know 100 ways to hurt an enemy, but I use that knowledge to keep my family safe, not to attack innocent people. She turned back to the aliens. A sheep is not peaceful. A sheep is harmless. There is a difference. Humans choose peace because we understand the cost of war. Know how terrible fighting can be, so we work hard to avoid it. Veltar felt his hearts beating faster. This human was talking about violence like it was wisdom, like knowing how to hurt people made someone better. But surely you want to move beyond such primitive thoughts. Our society has no weapons at all. We have not fought a war in 3,000 years. How? Admiral Chen asked. How do you stop bad people from hurting others if you have no way to stop them? We use harmony fields to make everyone calm, Kezara explained. We broadcast peaceful thoughts. We have medicines that take away aggression. No one wants to fight when they are under our influence. Admiral Chen sat down again. Now she looked worried. You control people's minds? You drug them to make them peaceful? We help them, Dr. Senna said firmly. We free them from violent thoughts. But what if someone does not want to be freed? Admiral Chen asked. What if they like their own thoughts, even the angry ones? Then they are sick, Veltar said. Violence is a disease. We cure it. Admiral Chen was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was cold. Ambassador, I think we have very different ideas about what peace means in our culture. True peace can only exist when people choose it freely. If you force someone to be peaceful, that is not peace. That is control. Dr. Senna stood up quickly, you see. This proves they are dangerous. They reject our help. They want to stay violent. We are not violent, Admiral Chen said, also standing. But we will defend ourselves if we have to. That includes defending our right to think our own thoughts. Realized the meeting was going badly. These humans were more difficult than any species he had met before. They talked about peace, but refused to give up their weapons. They said they were not violent, but admitted they would fight if needed. They made no sense at all. Perhaps we should take a break, he suggested. We can continue talking tomorrow. Of course, Admiral Chen said. But her smile was gone now. "We have prepared quarters for you on our station. You will be safe there." As the aliens were led away, Veltar noticed something that made him more nervous. The human soldiers in the hallways were not carrying guns where he could see them, but they moved like fighters. They watched everything. They were ready for trouble, even when they looked relaxed. Later, in his room on the human station, Veltar talked to his team through their communicators. "They are more dangerous than we thought," Dr. Sina whispered. "They have turned violence into culture. They teach it to their children as games. They watch it for entertainment. They call it sport and art. And they refuse our help," added Kessera. "No species has ever refused the peace treatments before." Veltar looked out the window at Earth spinning below. The blue planet looked so beautiful, but now he knew it was full of people who chose to be dangerous. People who could be peaceful but kept their weapons anyway. People who thought violence was wisdom. We have to help them whether they want it or not, he decided. We cannot leave them this way. They are too dangerous to themselves and others. "Do you mean?" asked Morden. "We start the peace protocols tomorrow," Veltar said. "We begin broadcasting the harmony fields at full power. We release the calming gases into their atmosphere. Make them peaceful whether they agree or not." "But that breaks the first contact rules," Kessera said. "Sometimes you have to break rules to do what is right," Veltar replied. "These humans cannot be allowed to stay dangerous. If they will not accept peace, we will give it to them anyway." As he went to sleep that night, Veltar felt good about his decision. Tomorrow, he would begin saving the humans from themselves. He had no idea that his peaceful solution was about to start the very war he was trying to prevent. The first sign something was wrong came at dawn. They moved slowly, like they were walking through thick water. Their thoughts felt fuzzy. Angry drivers stopped honking their horns. Arguments between neighbors just faded away. Everyone seemed calm, but it was not a normal calm. Dr. Maria Santos was drinking coffee in her lab when the reports started coming in. She worked for the Centers for Disease Control, and her job was to watch for new diseases. But this was not like any sickness she had ever seen. Dr. Santos, her assistant, called out, "We are getting calls from hospitals all over the East Coast. People are falling asleep and not waking up." Maria looked at the computer screen showing a map of the affected areas. The sleepy zone was spreading west like a slow wave. "How many people?" "Already over 1 million, her assistant said. "And it is moving faster now." High above the earth, Veltar watched his peace machines work. The harmony fields were broadcasting down to the planet, sending calm thoughts into human minds. The atmospheric processors were releasing sleeping gases into the air. Soon, all the humans would be peaceful. They would wake up in a few days with no memory of violence. They would be happy and safe. Aggression levels in the affected areas have dropped to 0. The humans are no longer fighting. "Are no longer doing anything," Kessera said, looking worried. "They have stopped working, stopped talking. Some have stopped eating." "That is normal," Veltar said. "When we remove violent thoughts, it takes time for peaceful thoughts to grow back. They will learn to be happy without anger." Admiral Chen was not sleeping. She was in the command center of the space station watching her planet die. The alien ships had moved closer to Earth during the night. Now they were close enough for their weapons to work on human minds. "Ma'am," her communications officer said, "we are losing contact with cities all across America. From Chicago said people were just sitting down in the streets and not getting up." Admiral Chen looked at the big screen showing the alien ships. 12 silver teardrops hanging in space like deadly raindrops. "Ambassador." When Veltar's face appeared on the screen, he was smiling. "Admiral Chen, I hope you can see that we are helping your people. The violence is ending. Soon there will be peace on Earth." "You are killing them," Admiral Chen said, her voice shaking with anger. "People are falling into comas. Children are not waking up. You call this peace?" "There may be some side effects," Veltar admitted, "but this is for their own good. Humans are too violent to be allowed to continue as they are. We will save them from themselves. Turn off your machines." "Right now," Admiral Chen demanded. "Stop what you are doing to our people." "Cannot do that," Veltar said. You have proven that humans will not accept peace willingly. So we must give it to you anyway. It is the only way. Admiral Chen cut the communication and turned to her staff. Her face was hard as stone. Send out the code red message to all. Military units still awake. Full mobilization. We are at war. The politicians said we should not start a fight. The politicians are asleep, Admiral. Chen said, and the aliens started this fight when they began attacking our minds. Across the parts of Earth that were still awake, military bases came alive. Missile silos opened there, doors to the sky, but the humans did not attack right away. Instead, they did something the aliens had never seen before. They watched and learned. Colonel James Mitchell was in charge of a secret research base in Colorado. On Earth, I think I understand how their mind control works, Dr. Emily Foster said. It affects brain chemistry, makes people sleepy, and removes aggressive. Thoughts? Can we block it? Colonel Mitchell asked. If we can generate the opposite frequency, we might be able to cancel it out. It's like noise-canceling headphones, but for brainwaves. How long do you need? Give me 6 hours. After that, we attack with what we have. In space, the aliens were feeling good about their success. Half of Earth was now peaceful. I am detecting some unusual activity from the human military bases. They seem to be building something. Lots of electronic equipment being moved around. High-energy experiments. Dr. Senna laughed. Let them build what they want. Once the peace fields reach them, they will forget all about their silly weapons. But Veltar was not so sure. He had been watching humans for days now, and they kept surprising him. Increase the power to the harmony fields. I want the entire planet peaceful by tomorrow. The first human counterattack came from Australia. A team of engineers had built a giant radio transmitter that sent out brainwaves designed to wake people up. Kasara shouted as alarms went off all over the alien ship. The humans are fighting back, Morden said, his skin flashing bright red. They built something that cancels our peace fields. More transmitters came online around the world. And these humans were not peaceful anymore. They were angry. Possible, Dr. Senna said. No species has ever been able to resist the harmony fields. The technology is perfect. Not for humans, Veltar realized. They adapt too fast. They learn too quickly. The second wave of human attacks came from submarines. Hidden, deep in the ocean, torpedoes shot up from the water. But these were not normal torpedoes. Human engineers had loaded them with computer viruses designed to attack alien systems. When the torpedoes hit the alien ships, instead, they stuck to the hulls and began sending electronic attacks into the alien computers. Navigation systems failed. Weapons went offline. So even the air recycling systems started having problems. They are attacking our technology with their technology, Gintar said in amazement. From a hidden command center. Because this is what we do, she said to her staff. Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We know how to study an enemy and find their weaknesses. We know how to adapt and overcome. That is what makes us human. Human rockets that had been disguised as communication satellites suddenly revealed their true purpose. They were weapons platforms, armed with electromagnetic pulse generators. When they fired, the alien peace machines shut down completely. Veltar watched in horror as his perfect plan fell apart. Humans all over Earth were waking up from the forced sleep, and they were very, very angry. Sir, Dr. Senna said, her voice shaking, maybe we should retreat. Call for backup from the home fleet. No, Veltar said firmly. We came here to bring peace. These humans are proving exactly why they are too dangerous to be left alone. Look how quickly they learn to fight. Us! Look how effectively they attack. The species must be pacified. The humans were not just fighting back, they were winning. And they had only been fighting for 6 hours. What would they be able to do after a full day? A week? A month? For the first time since arriving at Earth, instead he had given them a target for all. Their warrior skills, and humans, it turned out, were very good at hitting their targets. The war room, deep under Washington, D.C., was filled with screens showing the battle above Earth. Admiral Chen stood at the center, watching 12 alien ships slowly dying in space. But she was not celebrating. She knew this fight was far from over. Colonel Mitchell said, walking up with a tablet in his hands. "We have finished studying the alien technology. We found is very interesting." "Tell me," Admiral Chen said. "These aliens are not warriors," Colonel Mitchell explained. "Their ships have almost no real weapons, just those mind-control devices and some basic shields. It is like they have never been in a real fight before." Admiral Chen nodded. "Makes sense. They said they had not fought a war in 3,000 years. They probably forgot how. But there is something else," Colonel Mitchell continued. "Our computer experts broke into their communication systems. We have been listening to them talk to each other." He played a recording of alien voices. The translation software turned their words into English. "We are losing control of the situation," one voice said. It sounded scared. "How can this be happening?" said another. "The peace protocols have worked on every species for thousands of years." "These humans are different," said a third voice. "They fight like it is an art form. Every attack teaches them something new. They adapt faster than we can respond." "Maybe we should call for help from the battle fleet," suggested the first voice. "Battle fleet?" The second voice sounded confused. "We have not had battleships for 2,000 years. We threw away all our weapons when we learned to make peace." Admiral Chen looked at Colonel Mitchell. "They have no military backup." "None," he confirmed. "We also intercepted a message they tried to send to their home worlds. They were asking for help, but the response they got was basically, solve it yourself. We do not do violence anymore." Admiral Chen felt a chill run down her back. These aliens had come to Earth thinking they would meet primitive savages. Instead, they found a species that had spent thousands of years learning every possible way to fight. The aliens had no idea what they were dealing with. "Get me a communication link to their lead ship," she ordered. When Veltar appeared on the screen, he looked very different than before. His blue skin was pale and his large eyes were wide with fear. Behind him, Admiral Chen could see other aliens. Running around in panic, Ambassador Admiral Chen said calmly, "I think we need to talk." "You must stop this attack," Veltar said quickly. "We came in peace. We only wanted to help your people." "By forcing them to sleep forever?" Admiral Chen asked. "By changing their minds without permission? You call that help?" "We thought you were too violent to be reasoned with," Veltar said. "We thought we had to save you from yourselves." Admiral Chen leaned forward. "Ambassador, let me explain something about humans. We have been fighting each other for our entire history. We have studied war like other species study art or music. Every battle has taught us something new. Every enemy has made us stronger." The screen, she could see Veltar's skin turning even paler. "In our wars we learned about strategy," Admiral Chen continued, "how to think 3 moves ahead of our enemy. We learned about technology, how to build better weapons and defenses. We learned about psychology, how to break an enemy's will to fight. Please," Veltar said, "we surrender. Just stop the attacks." "I am not finished," Admiral Chen said coldly. "We also learned about adaptation, how to change our tactics when the enemy changes theirs, how to turn their own weapons against them, how to learn from defeat and come back stronger." She paused and looked directly at Veltar. "But most importantly, we learned when to fight and when to stop." "You never learned that lesson." "What do you mean?" Veltar asked. "You could have left when we said no to your help," Admiral Chen explained. "Could have respected our choice to stay the way we are. Instead, you decided to force us to change. That was your mistake." On his ship, Veltar was starting to understand how badly he had miscalculated. These humans were not primitive savages. They were evolved warriors. They had taken the art of fighting and perfected it over thousands of years. Every human child grew up learning lessons from ancient battles. Every human adult carried the wisdom of countless wars. "Sir," Dr. Cena called out from across the alien bridge. "Hey, the humans are doing something new." "What now?" Veltar asked, dreading the answer. "They stopped attacking our ships," Dr. Cena said, "but they are launching something else." thousands of small objects heading toward us. Veltar looked at his sensors. The humans had fired what looked like tiny missiles from their planet, but these were not weapons. They were robots. Each one was no bigger than a coffee cup, but they moved with purpose.
Ow!
What are they for? Kasara asked. They found out a few. Minutes later, when the robots reached the alien ships, instead of exploding, they attached themselves to the hulls and began to work. Some started cutting through the metal. Others began sending electronic signals. Still others just sat there and watched. They are studying us, Morden realized, his skin flashing every color at once. These humans are taking apart our ships. While we are still in them, they want to learn how everything works, but why? Veltar asked. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done it already. The answer came from Admiral Chen, whose voice suddenly filled their ship through the communication system. Because we do not just want to defeat you, she said. We want to understand you. Every species we have ever fought has taught us something new. You will too. This is horrible, Dr. Sina whispered. They are treating us like a learning experience. We studied your peace technology and built countermeasures in 6 hours, Admiral Chen continued. We hacked your computer systems and learned your language in 4 hours. We figured out your ship designs and found their weak points in 2 hours. Veltar felt his hearts beating so fast he thought they might burst. What do you want from us? 8. Now, we want to see what else you can do, Admiral Chen said. Our military scientists are very curious about your faster-than-light travel and your energy shields and your atmospheric processors. You want to steal our technology, Veltar said? We want to learn from it, Admiral Chen corrected. There is a difference. Stealing implies we cannot build our own. Learning means we will build something better. The robots had finished their work now. Veltar's ship was completely mapped and analyzed. The humans knew everything about it. But they were not done yet. We have also been studying your culture, Admiral Chen said. Your history, your philosophy, very interesting. You used to be warriors too, thousands of years ago. But you gave up fighting when you discovered mind control. We evolved beyond violence, Veltar said weakly. No, Admiral Chen said firmly. You found a way to cheat. Instead of learning to control yourselves, you built machines to control others. Instead of choosing peace, you forced it. That is not evolution. That is just a different kind of violence. Veltar realized she was right. His people had not become peaceful. They had become controllers. They forced their will on others and called it helping. Here's what is going to happen, Admiral Chen said. You are going to turn off all your mind control devices. You're going to remove all the chemicals you put in our atmosphere. You are going to leave our solar system. And if we refuse? Veltar thoused. Then we will show you what 12,000 years of military evolution looks like, Admiral Chen said. We will take apart your ships piece by piece until we understand everything. Then we will build better versions and hunt down every ship your people have. You would attack our homeworlds? Veltar could not believe what he was hearing. Necessary, Admiral Chen said without emotion. You came to our home and attacked our families. In human culture, that means we have the right to follow you. Anywhere and make you pay for it? Veltar looked around his bridge. His crew was staring at him in terror. These aliens, who had seemed so primitive, were threatening to destroy their entire civilization. And worst of all, Veltar believed they could do it. We will comply, he said quietly. Good, Admiral Chen said. You have 1 hour to clean up the mess you made. After that, you leave and never come back. The communication ended, leaving Veltar alone with his thoughts. He had come to Earth hoping to civilize primitive warriors. Instead, he had discovered warriors so advanced that they could choose when to fight and when to show mercy, but the mercy came with a warning. These humans would remember what happened here, and if any other aliens ever tried to force peace on Earth again, the response would be much worse. Veltar began giving orders to shut down the peace machines. As he worked, he could not stop thinking about Admiral Chen's words. The humans had not just defeated them, they had learned from them. And that meant humanity was now more dangerous than ever before. He had tried to save the galaxy from human violence. Instead, he had just taught them new ways to fight. 3 days later, the alien ships hung in space above Earth, like wounded birds. Their peace machines were silent. The sleeping chemicals had been removed from the atmosphere. All across the planet, humans were waking up from the forced sleep, angry but alive. Veltar stood in his ship's meeting room, waiting for Admiral Chen to arrive. This time, the meeting would be on his ship, under human terms. He had learned not to argue with humans about anything. When Admiral Chen entered with her guards, Veltar noticed she was not wearing her military uniform anymore. Instead, she wore a simple blue suit. But the human soldiers with her were still. Armed and alert, they watched everything, Ambassador, Admiral Chen said, as she sat down. I hope you have had time to think about what happened here. I have thought of little else, Veltar admitted. His skin was still pale from stress. Made a terrible mistake? Yes, you did, Admiral Chen agreed. But mistakes can be learned from. The question is, what did you learn? Veltar was quiet for a moment. We learned that peace cannot be forced. We learned that taking away someone's choice is not helping them. We learned that humans are far more advanced than we thought, and Admiral Chen prompted. And we learned that we are not as wise as we believed, Veltar said sadly. For 3,000 years, we thought we had found the perfect way to live. No wars, no violence, no conflict of any kind. We were proud of our civilization, but it was built on a lie, Admiral Chen said. Yes, Veltar nodded. We did not eliminate violence. We just hid it behind technology. We forced other people to be peaceful so we could feel good about ourselves. We were bullies who called ourselves healers. Admiral Chen leaned back in her chair. So what happens now? You go home and tell your people that humans are too dangerous to contact? That was my first thought, Veltar said. But then I realized something. If we do that, we learn nothing. We go back to our old ways. We keep forcing peace on other species. We make the same mistakes again and again. What are you suggesting? Admiral Chen asked. Veltar took a deep breath. I want some of my crew to stay here on Earth. I want them to learn from humans. Admiral Chen raised her eyebrows. Learn what exactly?
How?
To choose peace instead of forcing it, Veltar said. How to be strong without being violent. Q. How to protect others without controlling them. These are things humans understand that we do not. Senna, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Admiral Chen, this species is too dangerous. They turned our own technology against us in ours. They learned our language faster than our computers could translate it. They are a threat to the entire galaxy. Admiral Chen looked at Dr. Sina for a long moment. Doctor, let me ask you something. In your 3,000 years of peace, how many species have you helped? We have brought harmony to over 200 worlds, Dr. Senna said proudly. And how many of those worlds asked for your help? Dr. Senna's expression changed. Well, they were all violent species. They could not ask for help because violence had clouded their thinking. So none of them asked, Admiral Chen said. You decided they needed help and gave it to them whether they wanted it or not. We saved them from themselves, Dr. Senna insisted. No, Admiral Chen said firmly. You conquered them. You just used different weapons than most conquerors. The room became very quiet. Veltar could see that Dr. Senna was struggling with this idea. It went against everything she had been taught to believe. What would you do if another species came to Earth and tried to force peace on you again? Admiral Chen's expression became very serious. You would stop them permanently, even if they claimed to be helping. The most dangerous enemies are the ones who think they are heroes. Veltar felt a chill. So if my people continue their peace missions to other worlds, eventually you will meet another species, like humans, Admiral Chen finished. You call this merciful? Dr. Senna asked. Inno defeated us. Completely. You humiliated us. We could have done much worse, Admiral Chen said quietly. We could have destroyed your ships and killed everyone on them. We could have followed you home and attacked your worlds. We could have taken all your technology and used it to build an empire. Why did you not do those things? Veltar asked. Admiral. Chen smiled for the first time since the meeting began. Because that is not who humans are. Yes, we are good at fighting. Yes, we can be very dangerous when threatened. But we fight to protect what we love, not to conquer what we want. She stood up and walked to the window looking out at Earth. You came here thinking you would find primitive warriors. Instead, you found something much more dangerous. You found warriors who know when to fight and when to stop. I still do not understand the difference, Dr. Senna said. A primitive warrior fights because he enjoys violence, Admiral Chen explained. An advanced warrior fights because he must, and stops as soon as he can. The difference is wisdom. Veltar stood up as well. Admiral Chen, I have a proposal. Let some of my people stay here and learn from humans. In exchange, we will share our faster-than-light technology with you. You already have your technology, Admiral Chen pointed out. Our robots studied your ships completely. But we can teach you how to improve it, Veltar said. More importantly, we can help you contact other species in the galaxy. There are many civilizations out there. Most of them are peaceful. Some might even be willing to trade or share knowledge. Admiral Chen thought about this. And what about your Galactic Peace Union? What happens when they find out about us? We'll tell them the truth, Veltar said. That we found a species that taught us the difference between peace and control. That humans are not a threat to peaceful people, but they are very dangerous to anyone who tries to force them to change. That might start a war, Dr. Senna warned. Only if the Union tries to force peace on Earth, Admiral Chen said. And if they do, they will discover what real warriors can accomplish when they are defending their home. Veltar nodded. I think most of my people will choose to leave humans alone. We are not as brave as we pretended to be. Bravery and wisdom are not the same thing, Admiral Chen said. Sometimes the wisest choice is to admit you were wrong and try to do better. They talked for another hour, working out the details. Some aliens would stay on Earth to study human culture and philosophy. Both species would benefit from the exchange. As the meeting ended, Veltar had one last question. Admiral Chen, what will you do if other aliens come to Earth? Not everyone in the galaxy believes in forced peace, but some might want to conquer. You, for your fighting skills? Admiral Chen's smile became sharp and dangerous. Let them come. We have learned a lot from fighting you. We know how alien technology works now. We understand how they think and fight. Any species that tries to conquer Earth will discover that humans are even more dangerous when we have time to prepare.
I can wait for the final. I'm even Ian for out or I would out to sin. I so I self seven I can sa by some
Truly in peace, asking for friendship instead of demanding it. Then they will find that humans can be the best friends anyone could ask for, Admiral Chen said. We protect what we care about. That includes our allies. Later, as Veltar prepared to take most of his fleet home, he sent a message to the Galactic Peace Union. In it, he explained what had happened at Earth. He told them about the humans who had turned peace technology into weapons in hours. He warned them about the species that treated war like art and learned from every battle. But most importantly, he told them about the humans who had shown mercy to defeated enemies, who had chosen to teach instead of destroy, who offered friendship. To those who approached them with respect, the message ended with a simple warning. Leave the humans alone unless you come in true peace. They are not the primitives we expected. They are the warriors the galaxy has been waiting for. And if we are wise, we will learn from them instead of trying to change them. As the alien ships began their journey home, Admiral Chen stood on her space station, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, were hundreds of alien civilizations. Some would be friends, some would be enemies. But humanity was ready for both. They had been preparing for this moment for 12,000 years. The galaxy was about to discover what humans could really do when they set their minds to it. And humans, Admiral Chen knew, were very good at setting their minds to things.